connected.
Alright, testing, 1, 2, 3. Here we are in Australia. This is Winston Hills, and we are on our way to Pennant Hills to do some work on an RGV 250 and a GSXR 750 in order to prepare them for a track day at Eastern Creek in a couple of weeks. So I've been very lucky to be able to borrow this ginormous beast of a machine, otherwise known as a ZX14, or as I call it here, a ZX14. I just drove it down, or rode it down from Newcastle today, from my friend Matt's house. And yeah, it barely breaks a sweat doing 120, 130 kilometers an hour. It just seems very frustrated, I guess is the best way to describe it. It just does not like, well, it's pretty good at going slow. It's very flexible, good at going slow. Haven't really had a chance to take it above the speed limit. So I guess now we get to see what it's like in stop-go traffic. So the difference, of course, between Dallas and Sydney is that lane splitting is officially legal here in Sydney. But it doesn't stop the occasional moron from making threats of opening their door as I go by, swerving in front of me as I sneak by while they're stationary, shouting abuse while I go by, something which I still don't really understand. I guess people who do that are just frustrated, I guess, that they have to sit in traffic while a motorcyclist can just whiz by. I mean, there's not a massive speed difference. 20, 30 kilometers an hour, that's about the most you can really do. And yet they just get so hostile. So the last time I rode here was 1999. And that's just on 16 years ago. That was when I had my VFR 800. VFR. That's how the Americans say it. VFR 800. Versus the Australian VFR. VFR 800. So here's an example. Lane splitting safely. Scoot by, no problems. Easy. And now, when we watch for pedestrians and then we cut over in front of the car beside us. And then that traffic didn't even know I was there. I just ceased to exist for them. So theoretically, that's the best way to keep everybody happy. No one slows anybody else down. Nobody causes an obstruction for anybody else. And of course we don't hit their mirrors. Or as the Americans say, hit their mirrors. So nobody, theoretically, has any reason to get upset. But never let it be said that intelligence and logic will dictate the actions and reactions of the average peak hour commuter, or commuter, as the Australians say it, commuter. Okay, I guess we need to get some gas. Okay, so yeah, another interesting difference between American and Australian motorcycle riders is because the Americans ride on that side of the road, they are able to wave. So they literally just take their hand off the clutch and wave at each other. Simple. But here in Australia, because we ride on this side of the road, you can't take your hand off the throttle. So instead, they nod. Not everybody does it, of course, but it is interesting to see the difference. A wave versus a nod. So you'll never get a nod from a Harley rider, or usually not a scooter rider either. But there's exceptions to every rule. And sometimes you're just too busy. But a lot of sport bike riders do nod to each other in many cases, in many situations. And again, when I guess I was 20 years old, and I was nodding to an oncoming rider on a ZX7, or ZXR actually back then, and I took my eyes off traffic for just an instant, nodded to him, looked back, and I thought, oh no. And the traffic in front of me had come to a stop the instant that I looked away. And I just barely bumped into the car in front of me that had come to a stop. Just barely. But it was enough to bend my handlebars out of shape. So the driver of the vehicle, it was just a beat up old station wagon. He came to a stop, came around, looked at his car, saw no damage, and then just drove off, left me lying on the road. But there was an ambulance behind me that had seen the whole thing. They weren't in a hurry to get anywhere. Uh-oh, see, this is a problem. Let's see what this guy will do. Dukes. Accelerated to a little over the speed limit and then slow down. So I'm not in traffic, I'm between traffic. Oh, okay, there's a nod. A nod's as good as a wink to a blind bat, after all. Okay, so yeah, sometimes the lane splitting is a little difficult. So you do what you can to avoid. Now in this case, unfortunately, I was too slow to get into the other lane, so I'm going to have to block this guy behind me. But I'm not going to leave him room to squeeze in beside me. I'm going to defend my lane. Uh-oh, low battery on the camera. Well, we may have to continue this later. Or later. So, yeah, we'll do some more lane splitting later. and see what shenanigans we can get up to. Because honestly, so many videos I see of riding in traffic are all about how to annoy people the most, how to attract attention from cops the quickest, how many laws can be broken in the shortest period of time. That's not really my concern, my desire. I want to be as inconspicuous as possible while still getting where I need to go as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. Okay, so right from 0 to 70 quickly. Now I'm between groups of traffic. No one's going to sideswipe me. No one's going to be unable to see me. Okay. Oh no, I'll see if I'm not going to do it while the traffic is doing this, so I'll just wait my turn. I'd like to get there quickly and in one piece. I'm not in a desperate hurry. I'm not on the way to a funeral or to prevent a funeral, so it's not worth risking my life to get anywhere. Okay, well, yes, we will catch up later. Bye.